Hi, and welcome to the Healthy at Home webinar. Today we're going to be talking about osteoporosis. My name is Paige Corley, and I'm a health educator with Salt Lake County Aging and Adult Services. And of course, today I'm going to be talking about osteoporosis, what it is, what causes it, and really how exercise can be your best defense. If you've seen any of my webinars, you know that I'm all about exercise as our first defense in disease and our best option for maintaining health, that and of course eating healthy. But today we're going to be talking about osteoporosis and osteopenia, what it is, and how we can apply exercise to minimize its effects if we do have it, and to keep from getting it. So what is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis is the loss in bone mass, and osteopenia is the beginning stages of osteoporosis. And basically, when our bones lose their mass, they become more brittle and they break or fracture easily or easier. So if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis and you fall, the chances of you breaking a bone rather than just bruising the soft tissue becomes much greater. And of course, we want to minimize breaking our bones at any age, but definitely as we age. We don't want to break bones. Another thing that can be caused by osteoporosis is spinal compression. The vertebrae just cannot hold up under the weight of gravity and under the weight of our own body. And you'll see that we get shorter as we get older. We're not really supposed to, but it happens. And sometimes it's because of spinal compression, or we have a rounded spine, again, from not holding ourselves up in proper posture, and then again the effects of that loss of bone in our spinal column and in other parts of our body just kind of compresses us down. That gravity just gets the best of us. And the bones are one of those things that we just don't think about a lot. They're super, super important. They're often overlooked and they're often neglected. We kind of take them for granted. We don't really think about our bones. I mean, there's a lot of talk about our brain, keeping our lungs healthy, keeping our muscles healthy even. But you don't hear people talk about keeping your bones healthy specifically. And without our bones, we're just a big pile of human mashed potatoes. I heard that on sitcom. I thought it was pretty funny. We just ultimately are a blob. You could have super healthy muscles and great organs and a super healthy brain, but if your skeleton isn't there, it doesn't really matter. So our skeleton's really, really important. It allows the muscles and the tendons of the muscles to attach to the bones. It allows the ligaments to attach. Without the bones, we don't have anything for the ligaments to attach to or to attach together. And basically, it's what allows us to be mobile. Our muscles move our bones so that we can move through space. So super important part of our body that we really need to pay attention to. And we're going to talk about that. All right. So what causes osteoporosis? I mean, there's quite a few things that can cause osteoporosis. And, you hear people talk about there's two different categories. There's the category that we can't really control, and there's the category that we have more control over. And the part of osteoporosis and osteopenia that we may not be able to control, and obviously we can't control, is who we are, male, female, right? Osteoporosis seems to be a little bit more prevalent in the female. Race is a component. Genetic predisposition, right? Were you just born with your bones being kind of at risk for osteoporosis, even though you exercise and eat healthy? Certain diseases, certain pharmaceuticals that you might have to take for another reason that are really important but have a detrimental effect on your bones. I mean, those are kind of the things that sort of kind of are out of our control, right? Aging also is something that can cause osteoporosis, and we can't control aging, right? It's going to happen. It's a good thing. That means we're still around. We actually have slower regeneration of the bone as we age, even if we're healthy. Even if we age, everything else, we are going to lose bone density. But there are ways that we can combat that. And the decline that happens as we age doesn't need to be this steep drop down. It can be a very slow, shallow decline, but we have to be proactive to keep that from happening. And that's when we come to the part of the conversation, which is what can we control? What can we do to minimize our risk of osteopenia, osteoporosis, um, and maximize our ability to maintain as much bone density as we can as we age? And of course, that's our lifestyle. I found this slide and I really liked it, the different factors of our lifestyle. And they're all, of course, woven together, right? You can have one without the other, but it's really, it's hard. They usually start to braid together. Of course, physical activity and nutrition are huge. I've already mentioned them. That's the majority of what we're going to talk about is a little bit of nutrition and a lot of physical activity. But you can make choices with substance abuse, right? Smoking, excessive alcohol, even excessive processed foods. Now, that's just me. I'm going to include sugar and processed foods in substance abuse because I do believe that there is an addiction component to that. I do believe we can get addicted to sugar. It's so delicious. Why wouldn't you want to be addicted to sugar? Sugar has a negative effect on our bodies, right? It has a negative effect usually on how we're treating our bodies, a lot of different factors. So it's just something that you can think about there. If you're not getting good sleep, that's going to affect our tissue repair, right? When we sleep, our brain repairs itself. The wear and tear on our bodies, we have time to repair some of the damage. But if we're not getting good sleep, that's going to lead to stress, right? There's the mental well-being. How are you feeling? What's your stress level like? How are you emotionally? And if you're low on sleep, that's really going to affect our emotional and mental well-being. Absolutely. And then environment is, some of this we can control, some we can't. Let's say that you live with someone who smokes and you deal with that secondhand smoke, right? It might be out of your control, but it's still something that's going to affect you. Parts of country that you live in, where's the pollution in the air, all of those different things they're factors in our lifestyle. And again, some we can control, some we can't. The vast majority of them we can. People fight me on that. They say we can't control it. Vast majority of it, I believe that you can, with certain circumstances. Obviously, if you need to work 3 jobs to pay rent and raise your kids, then some of these lifestyles are going to take a hit, and you got to do that. So, I understand that, but even in that circumstances, trying to make as good a choice as you can is going to affect those lifestyle factors. So nutrition's a big one. Nutrition doesn't just come down to what we eat. It also comes down to what we don't eat, right? So obviously you've heard it till you're blue in the face. We need to eat more vegetables, more vegetables. It's a big message now. Eat your veggies, eat your fruits, right? Then eat your meats, and then your grains are somewhere else. But even if you are eating healthy, let's say that you do eat good, low fat animal proteins like a good chicken breast, and you have a good healthy salad, but you also have soda with that meal. It's not that soda negates the healthiness, but the soda does do its own damages to your body. So are you drinking water or are you drinking soda? Are you drinking water? Are you drinking juice? Do you have to sweeten everything? Even if it's with stevia, I don't care. Do you find that you're putting sugar or a sugar substitute, even if it's natural, in foods that you eat? So it's looking at everything that you're putting into your body, the things that are helping your body and helping bone mass, and those things that might be detrimental. So it's looking at every part of what you're eating. And to help combat osteoporosis, we want to avoid or minimize, I like to say minimize because that's just so much more doable, sodas, sugars, and processed foods. Right? If you can just minimize those, it's not that you can never have another French fry. It's just not something that you have every day or even multiple times a day. And it's not that you can never have sugar again. You just minimize your sugar intake. And the things we want to maximize to help osteoporosis, or to minimize us having osteoporosis, is calcium. We've heard calcium and vitamin D. Those are big defenses. And the thing is, they have to come in a pair. You have to have vitamin D in order for your body to be able to absorb calcium. And I'm not a registered dietitian, so I'm just kind of giving you the general idea. If you really want to get down to what you need to eat for you to avoid osteoporosis or minimize your risk of getting it, you need to talk to a registered dietitian. I highly recommend it. Underutilized professional um, uh, really is helpful. But dark leafy greens have good calcium in them. Um, Obviously, dairy has good calcium, and you see calcium. I mean, you see dairy that has calcium but is fortified with vitamin D. That's why you get them both at the same time. You can get vitamin D from being outside in the sun. No, you don't have to lay out in the sun. You don't have to put on baby oil. But being outside, uh, sitting in a sunny window, going for a 5 or 10 minute walk, just getting some sun on your skin. I know that's hard in the winter, especially in climates like this where it is a little bit colder. You can always take a supplement of the vitamin D, but those are big ones. Potassium and magnesium are also micronutrients that are helpful in the fight. I mean, in helpful to build bone density. So again, dark leafy greens, figs. Figs are really great. I think that I'm not exactly sure what they're high in, um, but they're good for you. So there you go. Citrus, any kind of citrus is great. Potatoes, fatty fish. You've heard all of these. All of these fall under that heading of healthy eating. The things that I thought kind of stood out were the prunes and the figs, um, as things that you might include in your diet if you know that you are wanting to build bone density. And molasses. Molasses is high in potassium, I believe, or it could be magnesium. Either way, molasses is a sweetener, is something that one might consider if they're looking for bone density. So healthy eating in general. And again, a really easy way to say healthy eating is minimizing sugar, minimizing processed foods, and minimizing sodas. Yes, diet sodas are included in that. So are any sweetened beverages. So I know all the loopholes out there. All right. So let's get into what I know more about. One of the things that we can control is our sedentary lifestyle. How much do you sit during the day? You can see this picture back there. That's of my dog. And I love when he lays like that because he just looks like he's been plopped down and he just can't move. His head is just, and I know I've felt like this before. And I know many of us feel like this. We're just kind of, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who have to sit all day because that's their job. Like me, I'm sitting right now. I do have a standing desk and I do try to stand for at least until I have lunch. And then I usually stand for the last hour of my workday. But there are some people who can't control how much they sit. Their job just demands it. Um, Nowadays, there are ways to combat that. Again, standing desk, making breaks during your workday, getting up and walking around. If you're on the telephone and you can stand up, doing that. But the sedentary lifestyle have become pretty detrimental to our lives. And part of that is usually if we're sedentary, we may not, and it kind of snowballs, right? Maybe if you're sitting a lot because it's your job, maybe you're not able to exercise as much as you want to, maybe you're not able to eat the nutrients that you want to. There's lots of things that go into that, but the sedentary lifestyle is something that we really want to combat if we can in order to build that bone density. So let's talk about some exercise and movement. And I've chosen these pictures on purpose. In the upper left-hand side, you see these two folks who are jumping rope. When was the last time you saw older adults jumping rope? Impact, and we're going to talk about impact in a little bit. But our body needs impact. It needs the bones respond to that impact. So walking, of course, is a great way to build the bone density in our legs because with walking, you are going to get some impact. It doesn't have to be a high impact, but there is some impact there. On the upper right hand side of the screen, you see people with kettlebells. It looks like they might be doing some push-ups or some planks, resistance training, strength training. When we flex and extend our muscles, it puts pressure on the bones. And that same pressure is like impact, and that helps build that bone density. So weight training is the new cardio. I mean, weight training is the thing that we should be doing. Because not only does it build our muscles, which is super important and make us stronger, but by doing weight training, usually you get a cardiovascular response. So you get that increased heart rate. Whereas sometimes if you're doing maybe the seated bicycle, you're going to get that cardiovascular response, but you might not get as much of the strength training as you would if you did some leg exercises. Bottom left-hand side, you can see these two people are running upstairs. Talk about impact, right? Even if they're walking upstairs. Obviously, for safety, you'd want to hang on to the handles, to the guardrails, what are those called, banisters. You can still walk up and down stairs being safe. But that, again, just kind of gives you the best of both. You get some strength training, you get some impact, you get some cardiovascular response. So what kind of exercise helps? Land-based exercise, anything on land. I know those of you who have knee and hip issues, we'd have to work with you as an individual, but talking as a gross generalization, land-based exercises help with our bone density. It's not that swimming is a bad form of exercise. Swimming and aqua aerobics are great forms of exercise, but they don't do a ton for our bone density. So let's say that you have knees that don't like pounding and your hips hurt you, and the only time you can get your cardiovascular is in the pool. By all means, do your cardiovascular in the pool, but just know that one of the things that you're missing in that is the impact and the bone density. And there's ways that you can add that to the pool workout, but it's really easy on land. And you can see this picture. It's some folks playing pickleball. Right, pickleball is great. You're definitely getting some impact. You're getting a little bit of strength training in that, you're probably squatting down and you're swinging and hitting a ball, and you're definitely getting a cardiovascular response. So walking, running, sports, anything on the ground, right? Anything where gravity is kind of affecting you. Those are great forms of exercise. It's not that biking isn't a good form of exercise. It is, especially if you're doing strenuous biking, where your muscles are really cranking to push that bike up that steep hill. But if you're going on a nice flat and you're just kind of, la 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 through the park, again, I encourage you to do that. I think that's wonderful for just general fitness and for, of course, mental and emotional wellness. It's wonderful. But if you're looking for strengthening your bones, that might not be your number one option, just your number one option. That's all. So let's talk about that impact. We've been told impact's bad for you. Don't do high impact exercises. It's bad for you. Well, the reality is it's not bad for you. In fact, it's necessary. It's a necessary thing. The thing is, you want to do impact thoughtfully. If you haven't jumped rope in 40 years, don't go pick up a jump rope and do 80 jumps. Right? You're going to hurt yourself. Be thoughtful. If the last time you did jump rope was in your 40s and you're now 80, let's talk about how you gradually get into adding impact into your routine. It can be something as simple as finding a place where, assuming that you have good balance, where you feel comfortable when somebody's around you, where you do just a dynamic up onto your toes and coming back down. Impact counts coming off the ground the littlest bit. You don't have to have a 60-inch vertical to get impact. So this is not talking about impact that's going to wreck your back or hurt your knees. We're just talking about, impact. Using your body, walking, again, running, jumping to operate on land with gravity as a factor. Once again, I've used that picture of the swimming. It's not that swimming is bad. It's just not your number one defense to generating bone mass or keeping your bones healthy. And again, if you want to add impact into your workouts, you know my motto, you see this on my Healthy at Home emails, is start slowly, but progress. Start safely. What did I say? Start safely and progress slowly. The main thing is you start small, but then you progress. Don't start small and stay there. Start small and progress. Okay? Slowly. All right. And again, I talked about strength training, and I chose this picture of these 110-pound dumbbells. Each one of those weighs 110 pounds. I chose that because I really want to get across that weight training is just that. It's training our bodies lifting weights, and we're not lifting weights for exercise sake. We're lifting weights so that it mimics what we do in life. So if you go grocery shopping and you buy a gallon of milk and a block of butter and some yogurt and what else is heavy? Some fruits, right? Vegetables aren't really heavy, but still, let's say you buy some vegetables and you buy some chicken or meat, a couple pounds. All of a sudden, you're talking about carrying close to 20 pounds of groceries out to your car. When was the last time you lifted 20 pounds? Are you the one that picks up those 1 pound weights? Right? And I'm not saying the 1 pound weights aren't helpful, but once you get good at those, you need to go to 2 pounds. And once you get good at those, you need to go to 3 pounds. And once you get, right, on and on and on, again, progressing. Because our lives don't weigh 1 pound. Our lives weigh 5, 15, 20 pounds. Your grandchild doesn't weigh 2 pounds, right? They weigh 20 or 30. And your dog, I mean, there's countless things, the package that you pick up off your front patio. So we want to do weight training that's going to overload our body, or overload our muscles, excuse me, and we want to work both upper and lower body. Leg press, hamstring curl, knee extension, bicep curls, tricep extension, overhead press, rows, push-ups, burpees. That's not weight training, but it really is because you're lifting your body. But I get off topic there just a little bit. The main thing is we want to challenge ourselves with our weight training. We obviously want to be smart about it. We want to start small, but then we want to progress. And again, we want to look at our workouts and say, hey, does this workout really mimic what I'm doing in life? Right? Does it really I'm not exercising so I'm better at exercise. I'm exercising so I can be better at my life. So we want to equate those two. And again, that strength training is one that really helps to build the bone density, combined with, of course, our healthy nutrition. So takeaways from today. We want to healthify your lifestyle. You want to keep osteoporosis away, or you want to go from osteoporosis to osteopenia and then hopefully get rid of osteopenia. Healthify your lifestyle. Quit smoking. Minimize your sugar. Minimize your soda. Maximize your vegetables. Maximize your fruits. Eat protein. Drink water and move your body. You got to move your body. That's huge, 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 huge. You can eat a really good diet, and that's a good step in the right direction, but you really need to move your body as well. And then you need to educate yourself. You know, talk to your health professional about, are there any pharmaceuticals that I'm taking that are affecting bone mass? And if they are, is there something else that I can be on? And if they say, no, there isn't, you have to take this prescription drug and it is going to affect your bone mass in a negative way, well, then maybe that health provider should also be prescribing you exercise so that you can help combat that bone loss through that pharmaceutical with exercise, right? So it's more than just exercising because I want to look good or even I want to feel good. You know, I want my bones to be healthy so that if I fall, I bruise and I don't break. Read your nutrition labels. Take responsibility for what you're putting in your body. If you don't know that there's sugar in your salad dressing, it's not hard. Read that nutrition label. It's on there like 3 times. It's written in the really small print, so you might need to bring a magnifying glass like I do. And it's also in the bigger typed up nutrition labels. It'll say added sugars, right? Know how much sugar you're taking in. Take responsibility for the foods that you're eating to the point that you can. Sometimes we have to eat frozen dinners. I get that. Try to make them as healthy as you can. And that might mean as healthy as you can through what's available to you at your grocery store and what your monetary funds will allow, right? It's just making the best choice with what you have, that's all. And then prioritizing fitness. And remember, fitness doesn't need to be in a gym. You don't have to change your clothes. It means moving your body. It means standing up during commercials. It means doing sit to stands when you have 5 minutes to talk to somebody on the phone. You might not have 30 minutes of your day to do exercise, but you might have 6 5-minute sessions throughout the day that you can do your exercise. And that makes a difference. It makes a big, big difference. Moving our body is one of the best ways that we can keep our bones strong, because that's what they're supposed to do, is move our body. So it's one of the big things, right? You hear me say that quite often. So that is a presentation. Those are the takeaways. Osteoporosis, osteopenia. Again, the short of it is move your body, lift some weights, look at what you eat, take responsibility for what you're putting into your body as much as you can. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.